The Dead are back, man. I gotta tell you, the X news these last few days, I'm like, can't catch a break. It's always when I'm going out and traveling are these news items dropping. I just landed from JFK where I recorded that video of Holly Berry and Matthew Vaughn. And now I'm back here at the Power of X-Men HQ down here in Miami. We call our neighborhood Krakoa. We call it Krakoa, isn't that cute? Yeah, so when I was flying, I got a text message from Mini Made It, Pedro, who said, did you see the news? And it's the dead X-Men that died at the Hellfire Gala. They're getting their own series come January. And I got mixed feels on it, to be honest with you, but it is being written by Steve Fox. And I love Steve Fox. We just had him on the podcast. I loved his X-Men 92. I love all of his X-Men Unlimited stuff that he's doing on Marvel Unlimited app. And, you know, Dark X-Men is probably one of my favorite books in the Krakoan age. So if I have any notes on Dead X-Men, it has absolutely nothing to do with Steve Fox's ability to deliver a really good story. I think whatever we're going to get is going to be a good story, but I have a lot of questions about this. I mean, obviously this is, you know, the losers getting their own adventure like we got with Secret X-Men a couple years ago, right? So, you know, this is kind of like a tradition now that the losers of the X-Men vote, they get their little adventure. But I will tell you, this is a 4-issue miniseries. If I read the headlines I read them really quickly, so we'll dive into the article here. But so if I'm wrong, whatever, I guess I'll edit this part out. But if I'm right, haha. But it's going to be like a 4-issue series, and I think Marvel listened. I think a lot of us were disappointed that this team didn't have a chance to go out. So let's dive into the news here. I posted it on our Instagram, and I asked, what are people's feels on this? And let me just see really quickly if anyone's replied to it. It was literally like an hour ago that I posted this. So let's see if we got any. God, I Instagram so much. You're all like, yeah, you do. You need to stop that. Wow. We got a lot of opinions in. So, all right, we'll get some of those opinions. Hopefully we can scroll through some of those opinions. But let's read the article that just published mere hours ago. Dead X-Men rise to reverse Krakoa's fall. Okay. This January, Steve Fox teams up with an all-star lineup of artists in Dead X-Men, a new limited series tied to the end of the X-Men's Krakoan era. All right. Well, why are they trying to reverse Krakoa's fall if this is the end of the X-Men's Krakoan era? Maybe they're just trying to save everyone. All right. This past weekend at New York Comic Con, fans learned the full scoop behind the end of the X-Men's hit Krakoan era. It has been a hit. Fans love the Krakoan era. With the announcement of 2 interconnected series, Fall of the House of X and Rise of the Powers of X. I think it's Powers of X. Someone corrected me. They said at the panel it was Rise of X. Well, Powers of X. Why wouldn't it be Powers of 10? I guess because Powers of 10 was supposed to represent Moira and her 10 lives. But okay, I would have found a way to work in 10. But anyways, it's a mutant milestone that will take place across space and time, and this final battle for Krakoa's future will also extend into all new limited series, including Steve Fox's Dead X-Men this January. Don't need to talk about how much I love Steve Fox again. 100% happy with him as a writer. I think he is going to be able to deliver a really good story. He has such a good knowledge of X-Men history, of what makes these characters special. Just go listen to our recent interview with him. If you're not already in love with him, you're going to fall in love with him as well. In this 4-issue limited series. I was right, so I'm not deleting that part. In this 4-issue limited series, Fox, currently exploring the twisted nature of mutant kind in Dark X-Men, will team up with a host of acclaimed artists. The saga will revisit key moments in reality's past that paved the way to Krakoa as a team of fallen mutants are sent through history by Professor X on a desperate mission to reverse Krakoa's fate. Wow, that is a handful of a statement. If last episode I said they were talking down to us in the marketing copy, this one I'm like, whoa, I need someone to decipher this for me. All right, let's read that statement again. This saga will revisit the key moments in reality's past. I think reality's past is what's throwing me off here. But key moments in reality's past that paved the way to Krakoa as a team of fallen mutants are sent through history by Professor X on a desperate mission to reverse Krakoa's fate. That's a lot of adjectives in there. But, okay, so Professor X will somehow resurrect these fallen X-Men and send them to the past, and they're going to revisit key moments of Krakoa that led to Krakoa's fall or rise. Let's see. Let me read this one more time. I'm sorry. The saga will revisit the key moments in reality's past that paved the way to Krakoa. All right. As a team of fallen mutants. All right, so Professor X is going to be sending these mutants to the past, and they're going to be going back to these key moments that gave rise to Krakoa. It's an impossible quest that calls for an impossible team, but who are the chosen heroes for this sacred mutant mission? Who are the dead X-Men? Oh, we have a cover right here, so I guess we can infer that it was all the ones that were killed at the Hellfire Gala this year. Death was only the beginning. Why? Why was death only the beginning? Death is not supposed to be part of the Krakoan age. It's just supposed to be a tool in the back pocket that the writers can use to resurrect a character if they wanted them. But the idea was to force the writers to tell stories that did not deal with death. I know I'm a broken record at this point. Obviously, that is not what they felt. Obviously, Hickman said this early on, and I've latched onto this idea. I'm going to move on from it. It's going to be the last time I rant about this. But in fairness to me, this is a book called Dead X-Men. Death was only the beginning. When the world turned against Krakoa, these 5 mutants lost their lives. But their mission as X-Men is just getting started. To preserve Xavier's dream, they must accomplish the impossible or die again trying. Who cares if they die again? I mean, there's no stakes in the story. I mean, they're clearly back, and if they die again, oh well. Okay, let's see. Explaining the new series, Fox said, Dead X-Men is one of the most complex stories I've worked on at Marvel. That's okay. I'm more than confident. Any complex stories with time travel, bringing back Dead X-Men, revisiting key moments, I'm sure Steve Fox can do it. Steve Fox did X-Men 92 with a Krakoan twist and Jubilee in the place of Moira, and I thought it worked so well. So believe me, this human can sell me on anything. Okay, where I've worked at Marvel, but also one of the purists, a small group of mutants who have to accomplish the impossible, which is the premise that made me fall in love with the X-Men in the first place. Okay, I wonder what the mission is. I mean, is it to save Krakoa? It has to be something tied to Krakoa. I've been working closely with Girion and Jordan, obviously, to make sure that the mission these unexpected X-Men undertake has real repercussions for the line and the very existence of Krakoa as we know it, he teased. I'm also stoked Marvel was up for the challenge of assembling such a big art team. There's a reason you'll see many talented creators credited on the book, and I can't wait for readers to discover the secret behind Dead X-Men. And Puri Perez has a haunting cover right here. And the cover, as you can see, has Dazzler, Jubilee, Cannonball, and Prodigy rising from their graves. Can we assume that Frenzy is there as well? Oh, I would love it if Frenzy was back for sure. Now, I hope they address why Dazzler and Cannonball were able to die. It took everything in me not to message Steve and be like, wait, what can you tell me? I'm going to record a reaction video. Is there anything you can tell me? Are you aware that fans are upset that Cannonball and Allison died when they're not supposed to die? They're supposed to be immortal externals. I did not. We're just going based off of this. This cover reminds me a lot of Chaos Wars. It reminds me of that original New Mutants cover. It reminds me of Necrosha. The Dead X-Men will rise. Why wasn't this part of the New York Comic Con announcement? You would have gotten so much traction if you had unveiled this on Saturday. Like, maybe, were they too busy? Did they have too much to reveal? Like with Infinity Paws? Infinity Paws couldn't take a back seat for Dead X-Men? It's definitely captivating. Now, my thing is, like, Krakoa is supposed to come to an end. What are these characters going to do? I feel like the Krakoan end has so many stories, and there's so much happening now with the X-Men. And it's like, isn't this supposed to be the end of Krakoa? Why are you announcing more add-ons here? Right, especially since one of the main criticisms people have given about the Krakoan Age is that there are too many books to follow. Few months we're going to have Nightcrawler's origin revised. We have Rise and Fall of the X-Men. We have Immortal X-Men and the mutants being in the White Hot Room. We have everything going on with the Jean Grey and the Iceman series. That's a lot. On top of that, we're supposed to get a tease for a new team in November. So, I mean, and we have Kamala as well. So, this is quite a lot to throw at us as readers. I can't keep track of everything, but I will tell you, again, I believe in Steve Fox. I'm excited to see these characters rise from the dead. And again, this is in the tradition of Secret X-Men, where the X-Men are the X characters that lost the vote, go on a mission, and they sort of get their time in the sun. I will say Steve wrote a fantastic Dazzler a couple weeks ago, and I'm looking forward to seeing him tackle her again. And let's see what some of you guys have to say about this. We have some messages in from Mini Made It, the artist formerly known as Mini Made It. He says, "What disappoint? It makes the violence at the gala even more graphic for no reason." Fair enough. Like, how are kids supposed to get into comics these days when Dazzler gets ripped in half for no reason? Okay, panel. And then she's resurrected like this. There is an issue of New Mutants during the Secret Wars 2 crossover, and in it, the entire team dies and then is resurrected. It had impact and consequences. Yeah, I mean, I trust that we're going to get some consequences, hopefully. I mean, if it's a Steve Fox book, I have absolutely no doubt that we're going to have some consequences here. All right, let's tackle some of the responses on our Instagram. Chaos War Part 2. I just said that. I said Chaos War. Stop this madness. Yeah! Exclamation point. Beast should stay dead. Meh. That's fair. So this is going to be Marvel Zombies moment with the corpses that piled up since Resurrection. Well, how are they going to come back? I guess it's going to be my question. Like, we had the 5 resurrecting mutants. Are they going to get out of the White Hot Room? By the time this series rolls out, are they out of the White Hot Room? Are they able to resurrect mutants? It seems now that, like, Magneto's coming back. These dead X-Men are coming back. Jean Grey is going to be coming back. Iceman came back. And they're all coming back in ways that are not the Krakoan way of resurrection. So that's already, let's see, Jean, Iceman, Magneto, plus these 5, that's already 8 mutants, right, that have just come back by other means than just resurrection. Why even have resurrection to begin with, right? It's, if you're just going to keep bringing these characters back. But again, we trust Steve Fox. I think he will sell us on a good story. By the way, and speaking of Chaos Wars, you know who came back in that? Moira and Destiny, and that's never been tackled. It's probably because they forgot about it. Nice to see Dazzler on the cover, but will she do anything in the story? Probably not. Now, I politely disagree. I think we're going to get Allison will have her time to shine. Fingers crossed. I really, again, Steve Fox wrote a wonderful one-shot X-Men Unlimited on the Marvel Unlimited app of Dazzler. It was so good. I loved it so much. I'm looking forward to this. Someone says, why not? They've tried everything else to bring back these titles back to life. Familia, you guys are so salty today. Very salty. I'm curious if this was a title that Steve pitched or was assigned to him. If it was a title he pitched, then I will say there's probably a master plan here. It's probably going to be very character driven. It's going to respect continuity. If it was assigned to him, I would be like, why? I don't think this is a title anyone wants. I think just bring back the dead X-Men in Rise and Fall and let them have a moment to like avenge their death. Give them like a really cool moment, you know? I'm also curious, like, what key moments are we going to be going back to, right? That led to Krakoa. I mean, obviously giant size, you know, comes to mind. That's the first thing that comes to mind. But, you know, are we going to revisit some moments that we saw possibly during Hoxpox? I don't know. Or are we going to get new ones that we've never seen before? I would love it if we go back to the most important scene in X-Men history where Moira and Xavier meet and Moira's like, read my mind, Charles. And he's like, wow. I think that would be really cool. And speaking of cool, we got a comment that said cool. We got another comment that said excited. I want to see Jubilee and Dazzler. Agreed. I want to see those two powerhouses back. Love the idea of this team. Hope they can do it justice. I'm pretty sure C. Fox will do it justice. Chaos War, X-Men, been dead, done that. A lot of comparisons to Chaos War. A lot of comparisons to Chaos Wars. Cannot wait to see this unfold. Dugan said this team was picked for a reason. Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, this team was picked for a reason, yeah, because they were the... Am I missing something here? These are the X-Men that were dead, that were killed by Nimrod, right? That's Prodigy, that's Jubilee, that's Dazzler, and I know it's shadowy, but it's blonde hair. I'm assuming that's Cannonball. And they're all in like a blue and gold costume. So this team was picked for a reason, yeah, because it was a team that died, because this is Secret X-Men, you know, again, to repeat myself, this is, you know, sort of what the losers of the X-Men vote get. They get a one-off mission. We got a yawn emoji. So it seems like it's pretty mixed. I think a lot of people are excited to see Allison and Jubilee back in the forefront, and I am too. And I'm curious how this is going to tie into everything that's going on in the Krakoan age. You know, let's see. I would have rather this have been officially announced as a spin-off title of Rise and Fall. Again, I think it would have been better at New York Comic Con. I am of the position of wait and see, but what is the point of them going back to revisit key moments in Krakoa if this is the final story of the Krakoan age and we're going to move on from it editorially? Maybe this is going to be a swan song for Krakoa. I'm curious what the impossible mission is. I want to know what the impossible mission is. I'm curious how these dead X-Men are going to be resurrected. Again, you know, it could be the Five, it could be other means, but if it's other means, I would be like, well, man, at this point, we've had so many dead X-Men come back. You don't even need resurrection anymore. I mean, my theory is the Phoenix will come back and resurrect everyone. I love, you know, I want our God Queen to come back and save the universe. Sorry, Familia. Anyways, drop your feels below in the comments. Ring that notification bell so you get an episode of Power of X-Men once it's available. And we will see you guys later.